Hey guys, in today's video, I'm going to talk all about what I want to see changed in Season 11. This is just my opinions. This is not confirmed. None of this is even leaked. It's just my opinions and what I want to see. Go ahead and leave your own opinions in the comments below. Remember to be respectful to each other and let me know what you want to see in Season 11. Also, remember to like the video and use code evolve-jake in the Fortnite item shop. But the first thing I want to talk about in this is obviously a new map. This is something that's been heavily hinted at through some leaks of leaked POI names and some of the leaked things happening with the Fortnite event being the end and such. It seems like we're going to get a new map, and I personally would be in favor of getting a new map. In the past, I would have said no to this, but I feel like Fortnite is in a really bad spot right now, and an addition of a new map, if it's good, could make the game a lot more fun to play for a long period of time. Like, I feel like a lot of players who've been playing like maybe a few hours every night or whatever will be more inclined to grind and learn the new map. If there is a new map, people will be more excited to play. It is a risk. It could end up to be worse than the current map, but hopefully if there isn't a bunch of ridiculous gimmicks, the new map can actually be good. And I think that since Epic made the old map before they even knew how Fortnite would really play and evolved it over time, with this new map, they already know how Fortnite players play, what Fortnite players like, what Fortnite players don't like. So I think they have an opportunity to make a really good map here, starting from scratch, knowing how players already play Fortnite. The next change I would like to talk about is skill-based matchmaking. I think they need to get rid of skill-based matchmaking and get rid of the constant crossplay. If you were unaware, with the recent skill-based matchmaking updates, all players, regardless of platform, are pulled together and they play in the same lobbies all the time. How it was before was Xbox and PS4 had their own lobbies, mobile and Switch had their own lobbies, and then PC players had their own lobbies. But when they added crossplay, they pulled all these players together. So if you're a mobile player and you have a lot of wins, you're going to be matched against PC players and console players who have a lot of wins. And that's just really not fair at all to the mobile players. And I feel like it's not fair at all to console players either, to if you have a lot of wins on console, 60 FPS, to have to play against PC players in pubs. And the skill-based matchmaking doesn't really make sense to me. Since we have Arena, I don't understand why you have it in pubs and we have Arena. That's the point of Arena, is the skill-based aspect of it. I do think that skill-based matchmaking could help for new players, but I think the way they did this was wrong. It seems like they tried to group everybody into similar skill brackets, whereas I think the better solution would be to group newer and let's just call them bad players in their own lobbies. Like, let's say you rank everybody 1 to 10. You put the 1s and the 2s in their own lobbies with the bots, and then you leave everybody else alone, and then you don't have the need for constant crossplay. That's just my opinion on it. I don't think skill-based matchmaking is needed in Battle Royales, especially when we have Arena mode. And I think skill-based matchmaking, as I made another video on, is something that will ruin the game eventually, because it just makes pubs not fun to play whatsoever for a lot of the higher end players. A lot of the people who play the game a lot don't find the game fun anymore. And if that's the case, then the game just isn't going to survive, in my opinion. The next change I would like to talk about is to make Zone Wars a permanent LTM. With the addition of the Zone Wars LTM in Season 10, I think it is one of the best changes they made throughout the entire season. And if they keep it as a permanent playlist and just cycle in maps every week, as it is now, we have 4 maps. Let's say every week they take a map out and put a map in. That brings something new and exciting for the community constantly to be playing. That doesn't really take much work from Epic because it's made by the community. And then this in turn also encourages creators to create maps for the community. So it's just like an ecosystem that kind of feeds itself and produces new content every week that Epic doesn't necessarily have to work hard on. Just like the block, I think they put the loot on the block, so there is some work there. And there's obviously some work making sure like the maps run properly. But I think Zone Wars is a fun playlist. It's a nice change of pace, and it's something that can bring like constant excitement from the community's creation and seeing what people come up with. So I think Zone Wars is a great LTM, and I think it should stay in the game for like the foreseeable future. Kind of like how we have solo, duo, squads as permanent playlists, and then we have Team Rumble and Arena. Zone Wars should be right there. The next change I would like to talk about is Siphon. I'm not going to go too much into this one because I do not think it's going to happen at all. But I think Siphon was the best thing they ever did for the game, period. 50 HP, 50 mats on kill, and the reduced mat cap made the game a lot more fun to play. For me personally, it cut out on all the downtime pretty much. You didn't need to loot and farm as much. You could just go and fight people, and that made the game more fun for me, so I would like to see it return. Like I said, this video is my opinions. If you disagree with that, leave a comment below. It's fine. I understand that there are some disagreements with it, but for me, it's only upside with Siphon. I would like to see them vault the tactical SMG, the junk rift, the zap trap, the auto sniper, the scoped AR, and the common heavy AR. Not the green or the blue one, just the white one. That way, the common AR is the more common weapon. Like, it's the only white AR. But the heavy AR is still in the game for the higher rarities. These are all pretty self-explanatory. I feel like a lot of these weapons are pretty absurd. The scoped AR I don't really have much of a problem with. I just don't think very many players use it, so it's kind of like a waste of time. TAC SMG, junk rift, zap trap, incredibly cheap items. And then the common heavy AR. It seems like most people don't like the heavy AR. And this would kind of get rid of it for early game RNG, but leave it in the game for the people who actually do enjoy using the higher versions of it. That's like the solution that I've found for the heavy AR at least. I would like to see bouncers no longer be able to be placed on floors. That way people can't spam them to get high ground. I think the skill in Fortnite is building and shooting. And the only way to get high ground should be to build. And when they add items in the game, like the bounce pads, which people can put on floors to just bounce to height, the grapple hook, shockwaves, all these things really reduce the skill gap. So I don't think having bounce pads being placed on floors is a good thing. Walls or stairs is fine. It's just no longer placed on floors, and then you solve all of the problems with that item. I would like to see the heavy sniper nerfed so it no longer breaks walls. And I would like to see it 120 body damage instead of 150. Really annoying weapon. So I feel like it's kind of self-explanatory there. I feel like it's way too easy to use in comparison to how the bolt was in the past. They have reduced the drop on the bolt, but if you look back at like seasons 2, 3, or 4 bolt early Fortnite, the way the bolt action functioned, there was a lot of drop and you had to account for it, and body shots were only 100. If you wanted to one shot somebody, you pretty much always needed a headshot, and I think that sniping took way more skill back then. And then the fact that the heavy sniper can break walls has a lot of problems for competitive, has a lot of problems with people just taking walls with it. And then also I feel like it makes the third party snipers way more annoying than they would be otherwise, especially in solos. Lots of people just like to play off third party snipes, and when they do this with the heavy snipe while you're in a build fight with somebody, you either get tagged for 150, which isn't fun, or they break your build and mess up your momentum in the build fight, which also isn't fun. I feel like it's incredibly annoying, and the skill required for the player to execute on to annoy you is incredibly low. So I would like to see the heavy sniper no longer break walls and no longer do 150 body damage. I also think it would be best if the heavy sniper was put in only vending machines and drops, kind of like the RPG was. That way the bolt is like the common sniper, and then the heavy sniper is the power weapon that you can only get out of vending machines and drops. I would like to see supply drops more of a think something people go for to get power weapons. Like I would also see to see the grenade launcher only available in vending machines and drops. This would cut down on the early game RNG when you get this as your only weapon, and it would also make the supply drops something to go for. That's the only place you can get those power weapons. That's the only place you can get the grenade launcher, the heavy sniper, the RPG. There might be some weapons I'm leaving out, but all these like really, really high damage, insane weapons that are kind of OP, put them in the supply drops and then make it something that people fight over. That way it's kind of RNG, but it's less RNG, and it gives something for players to go for mid game. It allows the action to like center around these drops, and I think it would make the game a lot better. Since they added the RPG to only vending machines and drops, I feel like the amount of RPG spam has gone down drastically, so I would like to see them do that with the other power weapons. I also think that the spike trap needs a nerf or removal completely. There's lots of ways they could nerf the spike trap. They could nerf the time it takes it to activate. They can nerf the damage, make it go down to 75, 100, 125 instead of 150. They could also nerf the range on it. As it is right now, it seems like the spike trap goes like 90% of the way through a box. Like you have to be all the way on the other wall to dodge it a lot of times. They can make it to where it goes like 60% of the way through or 75% of the way through, making it easier to dodge. I'm not sure what else. There's like, it used to work how you could only place it on fully built walls. There's lots of ways they could nerf the traps. I personally don't like them in the game. I would rather see them removed. But I think the best way to nerf them would be either the damage or how far it goes through the box. That way, if you box someone completely and you get traps on both walls, or you get it on the ceiling and edit them into it, it still hits them. But it just makes it easier to dodge if you only have one wall. It adds more counterplay to the item, because as it is now, the traps don't really have much counterplay. People just spam them out, and then whatever happens, happens. They tag you for 150. So I think traps seriously need to be looked at. It's something that I feel like lots of players complain about, and I feel like it's something where there's lots of ways where they could nerf it potentially. For competitive next season in Season 11, I would like to see duos and squads be the game modes. This is something that I've seen people talk about a lot, and it just comes down to preference. Some people like competitive solos, some people don't. Like I said, I think duos and squads would be a nice change of pace for next season. Have duos be the weekly cups and have squads be the weekend cup things. And I think that'd be pretty good. And then the final change I want to talk about is that they should have a vehicle like the ATK. Not necessarily the ATK itself, although I'm open to just having the ATK back, but a vehicle that allows you to travel around the map, but just isn't free, like, escapes from a fight. Like, if in the past, when the ATK was in the game, if someone tried to drive away from you in that thing, like, it was pretty easy to AR them out of it and just kill them. They weren't just going to be able to flee every fight they got into because they were in an ATK. But it did allow you to travel around the map quickly. It had a bit of risk involved with it that the other vehicles don't have, but it also gave the transportation. So I would like to see some sort of vehicle like the ATK or just literally the ATK returning. And that is it for this video. That's all I could think of that I would want to see in Season 11 right now. I'm sure there's several things that I forgot. Leave a comment down below of what you would like to see changed in Season 11, what you think of my thoughts on Season 11. And if you did enjoy this video, please do remember to give it a like, subscribe if you would like to see more, and use code evolve-jake in the item shop. Thanks for watching.